Hi, my name is Teresa Bruni, and I'm the healer at Less Fear, More Flow. Today, I'm here to speak with you about some of the challenges in living with a chronic health condition. How do I know? Well, I was chronically ill for over a decade. I was actually on full disability for 9 years. So I know quite well what it's like to live with a chronic health condition. I also know what it takes to recover. So as we go through this information today, I hope to answer some of your questions and to inspire you and give you hope to know that recovery is possible no matter what the doctors say. Okay, so just keep that little secret between us, and we'll talk more about that later. So first, let's define what a chronic condition is. Chronic means consistent and ongoing. So, oftentimes I'll be speaking to someone and I'll ask them if they have a chronic health condition, and they'll say no. They're fine. And then later on down the road, they'll happen to mention that they've been suffering with severe shoulder pain for 6 months, or they'll say, oh yeah, I have high blood pressure, but I medicate it. Make no mistake, those are consistent and ongoing conditions, and they are considered chronic. All right. So anything that's constant and ongoing is a chronic condition. And they can be very challenging to deal with, especially when you've got the responsibilities of living life like most of us do. Okay, you have a job and maybe you have children or other family members that you need to manage. And adding on the stress of a chronic health condition just makes all of that more difficult. So what is it like living with a chronic health condition? It's quite challenging. First of all, many of us, we don't want to admit that we're sick. We don't, for me personally, I never wanted to wear a sign, that said, hey, guess what? I'm sick. I wanted to try to act and look as normal as possible. And when we do that, then people that we interact with often don't know that we're challenged. And so then we can feel misunderstood. So that's a big concern, especially for people who have what we call invisible illnesses. So for example, I mentioned chronic pain just a little bit ago. If you have chronic pain, probably people aren't going to know. You can't see chronic pain unless you're limping or you're in a wheelchair or something like that. So it's difficult for people to have compassion and understanding if they don't know that you're chronically ill. So what do? That's something that's really going to be up to you and who you choose to share that information with. More than likely, your family is going to know because they live with you. But the question is, do you want to tell the people at work? Again, it's those silent conditions that can be especially challenging because people at work don't understand why you're calling in sick or why you just don't have the energy at the end of the day. So it can be very challenging. But I encourage you to confide in those that you can trust. And you'll find that many people are very compassionate and they'll do whatever they can to help you. Okay, so that's another thing. Be sure to ask when you need help. Again, some of us, and especially me, I'll admit, I like to be strong and independent, and I don't like to depend on other people when I don't have to. But when you've come down with a chronic health condition, sometimes you're just brought right down to your knees, and you have to be able to ask other people to help you. And quite often, again, people are compassionate and they will help you. So whether it's, a neighbor asking if they can pick up something from the store, or getting, the neighborhood kid to mow your lawn or help you take out the trash. Ask for the things that you need until you can get back on your feet. It'll make you feel good, and it'll make the person who's helping you feel really good. So take those gifts when they're offered. All right. The next topic I'd like to address with you is boundaries. I work with a lot of people who have a lot of different challenges, and boundaries is something that I find is missing in the lives of a lot of people. As a matter of fact, if you've established a life with poor boundaries, excuse me for tripping over that, poor boundaries, chances are that has contributed to your chronic health condition. So let's talk about what healthy boundaries look like. When we are confident in ourselves and in our abilities, we can establish healthy boundaries. When we are not confident in ourselves, we tend to have poor boundaries because we feel as though we have to earn the respect from other people. Now, this is a very deep and complicated subject, and oftentimes poor boundaries go back to childhood traumas. So if you were mistreated as a child, that transforms into low self-esteem. And then as an adult, you don't have proper boundaries. Now, when I talk about boundaries, I'm talking about boundaries in all areas of your life. So friendships, work-related boundaries, anything, any area where you might be allowing people to treat you with a lack of respect or in a disempowering way. This will only compound your chronic health condition. Lack of boundaries leads to stress. Stress leads to a breakdown of the immune system. So proper boundaries are very important. If you need help establishing proper boundaries, or you may not even know what good boundaries look like if you've never had them, please reach out to me. Go to my website. It's my name, teresabruni.com. There'll be a link below the video to my website, and request your discovery session. It's just amazing what we can uncover when we look back at why you're sick and where this illness came from. So again, boundaries. When you're living with a chronic health condition, boundaries are very, very important. Another example would be setting up a schedule for yourself to make sure that you can get the proper rest. If you've been living a life with a poor set of boundaries, people will take advantage of that. And even though you have a chronic health condition, that might not make a difference to them at all because they're so used to you doing things for them. So now you're going to have to set up new ground rules, going to have to play the game differently. This will come with time. It's really important that you don't expect people to change overnight just because you've been diagnosed with a chronic health condition. People can't change overnight. Okay, so it's a matter of learning to play the game differently. And in time, you'll be able to establish some healthy boundaries. So look at the relationships you have going on around you. Look at your boundaries as far as your health is concerned. That's another area. Maybe you want to start eating better. Again, sleep. Sleep is essential. Now, sleep is another area that can be quite challenging when you have a chronic health condition, because if you're not physically tired, then you're probably struggling to get a good night's rest. In addition, if you're so chronically ill that you are out on disability like I was, chances are you're probably stressing over some financial issues. And so it's when you go to rest your head on that pillow that all this stuff starts swirling into your mind and you're not able to get a good night's sleep. Make no mistake, proper rest is essential to your health and well-being and to your recovery. So what are you going to do? Well, you can, again, set some boundaries and let yourself know worry is for waking hours. And when you're in the bedroom and your head hits that pillow, that's the time to let yourself off the hook, let go of all stresses, all worries, all concerns, just for the night. You can pick back up on it in the morning and try very hard to get a good night's sleep. Lots of suggestions on that, and many of them you may have heard before. For instance, no television in the bedroom. Try not to use your cell phone for an hour before bed, or get some blue blocker glasses to stop the blue light. You can Google that and read up more on that if you're not familiar with it. You can, one thing that I like to do is I like to listen to audiobooks. Okay. I make sure that I don't have a cell phone in the room that I sleep with. In the room that I sleep in, but I do have a device where I can play audiobooks. If you use an audiobook app, look to see if it has a timer. So a lot of times I'll set that timer for 30 minutes. And because I'm focused on the book, that's preventing me from thinking about all my worries and concerns. It helps me to relax and I can fall asleep, and the book will shut off by itself. So again, set up those areas where you can facilitate giving your body what it needs in order to recover. All right. So worry is a big one, and I am so familiar with that. When I went out on disability, my income was cut to 60%. It's almost half. So I was only making half of what I was making when I was healthy. That alone can make you feel like a failure. And so if you're feeling like a failure, know that that's normal. You're not a failure. You're just sick. Don't confuse the two, please. All right. And it can being chronically ill can also lead to depression. And who wouldn't be depressed? You have to deal with a chronic health condition every single day. So keep an eye out for that. And if you think that you are depressed, please speak to your doctor about it. There are lots of natural things that you can do. If you are able to exercise or get some fresh air, that will help. You want to stimulate the serotonin levels in your brain. But at the end of the day, if you cannot manage that depression, speak to your doctor and consider going on a pharmaceutical, an antidepressant to help you with that until you can get back on your feet and adjust to this new lifestyle that you're going to have to become accustomed to, at least for a while. Remember, I did have a full recovery and I've been fully recovered for 20 years. So I believe that everybody can recover. All right. So what else can we talk about? What else? Living with a chronic health condition. Relationships. Your relationships will change. Your friends may not understand because, again, especially if you have that invisible illness, your friends aren't going to understand because you don't look different. So be compassionate with your friends, and realize that unless you've experienced this, people just don't understand. I will be the first one to admit to you, I didn't understand what it was like to be chronically ill until I was. I didn't understand what all the hype was about, your health and how valuable your health was until I didn't have mine any longer. So be compassionate with your friends. There's a good chance that they're just not going to understand what you're going through. All right. You can ask them to try to understand. Maybe you could ask them to watch this video. But just know that your relationships are probably going to shift. Some may shift in a good way, some maybe not. But then, maybe some of these relationships do need to come to an end in order for you to reduce the stress in your life and to give yourself the ability to get well. Taking care of yourself, I can't think of anything more challenging than waking up every day and knowing that you have another day that you have to live with a chronic health condition. Day after day after day, it wears on you. I know this firsthand. That's why I recommend that you do your very best to take your shower, groom your hair. Ladies, maybe put a little eye makeup on, so that when you look in the mirror, you look healthy, or you look healthier than how you feel. Gentlemen, shave or groom that beard or mustache, whatever grooming you do. Get out of those pajamas, put on some clothes, and be prepared to live life normally, even though you're not going to. I have a great story. I had been chronically ill for quite some time, and I had gone to see my local doctor. I had lots of doctors, I had lots of specialists, and I'd gone to see my local doctor because I wasn't feeling well. I mean, I was really not feeling well. On top of being chronically ill, I think I had some sort of stomach flu or something like that. And I didn't put any makeup on that day. And that was the first time my primary care physician saw me without makeup. And he stepped back and he said, "Oh my gosh, you're green around the gills. You look horrible." And I said to him, "This is why I put makeup on every day, so that, I take my concealer and cover the green around the gills part. Make yourself look as good as you possibly can, so that when you look in the mirror, you can feel better about yourself, and that will help you on your in your quest to get well." So make sure you do all of those things. Try to live life as normally as you can, but please don't push. A lot of people say, fight, you have to fight it. You have cancer, you have to fight the cancer, you have this and that. I'm going to tell you right now, I do not agree with that philosophy at all. Fighting wears you out. And if you're worn out, you cannot recover. Okay. So I like to use the example of a prisoner of war. So we'll take the Air Force pilot gets shot down and he gets captured, or she gets captured by the enemy. Okay. What they need to do at that point is surrender. If they try to fight, surely they're going to get beaten, or even worse, killed. So the thing to do in that moment is to surrender and then you can make your plan for escape. I see it the same way with chronic health condition. Trust me, I fought for many, many years. I didn't know any differently. Then one day, just with pure exhaustion, I just said, okay, I surrender. I give up. Okay, I surrender, giving up just for the moment, not forever. That's the important point there. That for me was the big turning point in my recovery. Surrendering was like being in the mall and not being sure where you are, and then coming across that kiosk that has the sign that says you are here. Once you acknowledge where you are, then you can start finding your way back. So surrendering is very, very important. Again, the whole fight philosophy, it doesn't work. There's a great story about Mother Teresa. She was asked, will you, we're marching against war. Will you march with us? And her response was no. She said, when you march for peace, I will join you. So Mother Teresa knew that pushing against something, marching against something, fighting against something, it doesn't work. It's not the right way. So I challenge you. I know it's hard. But I challenge you to just surrender. Stop, relax, take a breath, and recognize that this is where you are. And that will empower you to find your way back. I hope you found this information enlightening and valuable. I'd love to hear your comments. If you have any topics you would like me to speak on, simply put it in the comments area below. Hit the subscribe button and click that little bell so you'll know when I release more videos. And feel free to go through my channel and see what else is there that you might find of value. Connect with me on my website at teresabruni.com. I've got lots of free offers for you. And if you get on my mailing list, I'm here to encourage you and inspire you to get well. All right. Thank you and be well.